All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our class today. So we're going to be tackling a topic that's, well, it's more than just learning a language. It's really about making genuine human connections. We're talking about hobbies. This is the absolute bedrock of any casual chat, and getting this down is a huge step towards sounding truly fluent. So let's get right into it. I mean, really think about it for a second. It doesn't matter if you're in a new country, a new school, or starting a new job. This is something we all face, right? You've got to find some common ground, that little spark of a shared interest that turns a stranger into a potential friend. And that, of course, is where hobbies come in. They're the things we choose to do just for the fun of it, the activities that really show who we are outside of our required studies or work. And sharing that part of yourself is one of the fastest, most authentic ways to build a real connection with someone. Okay, so this right here is our official goal for the day, and this comes straight out of the course syllabus. My promise to you is that by the end of our time together, you'll have everything you need to absolutely nail this. We're going to give you the words, the grammar, the tips on pronunciation, and, super important, the cultural background you need to talk about this stuff with real confidence. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get the key vocabulary down. These are our essential building blocks. Then we'll see how to put those blocks together to make actual sentences. After that, we'll hear it all in a real conversation, break down some tricky pronunciation, and finally, we'll get into the cultural nuances that will make you sound so much more natural. Okay, so first things first, let's get into our essential vocabulary. And remember, when we're learning Mandarin, it's not just about memorizing characters. It's about seeing the story, the logic that's baked right into the characters themselves. This is really the foundation for everything else we're going to do. So the big word for today is ai hao. This is the word for hobby. Let's say it together. Notice the tones. Ai, that's a sharp fall, a fourth tone, and hao, another fourth tone. So ai hao. But here's where it gets really cool, when you look at what this word is actually made of. Okay, let's really pull this apart, because this is a perfect example of how deep and, frankly, how beautiful this language can be. The first character, I, means to love. And look at the picture it paints. You've got a component at the top that looks like a claw, suggesting holding or grasping something. Right in the middle, you can't miss it, is sin, the character for heart. And then at the bottom, there's a part that means to go or to walk. So the ancient idea of love isn't just a feeling, it's an action. It's something your heart grasps and carries with you. Now look at how, for good. It's made of nu, woman, and zi, child. Think about that image, a mother with her child. That's the ancient pictograph for what is good. It tells you so much about the cultural value placed on family. So when you put them together for hobby, aiho, what you're literally saying is a love good. It's not just a pastime. It's something you love that is considered wholesome and good. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so that's the noun for hobby. But to talk about your hobby, the verb you're going to use almost all the time is 喜欢, which means to like. You see, I is a really powerful, deep word for love. You save that for people or really profound passions. But 喜欢, that's your everyday workhorse for talking about activities, food, music, you name it. Let's get the tones right. 喜, that's a third tone, so it does a little dip and rise. And 欢, a nice, flat, high first tone. 喜欢. Now, take a look at these common hobbies, and I want you to notice a pattern here. For to read books, you have 看书, 看书. Literally, look at book. Makes sense, right? For listen to music, it's 听音乐, 听音乐, listen music. And play games is 玩游戏, 玩游戏, play games. You see that verb-object combo? It's super common, super logical. The other two, 运动 for sports and 旅游 for travel, are neat because they can be both the thing itself and the action of doing it. All right, so we've got our bricks, the vocabulary. Now we need the mortar to stick those bricks together. That's our grammar. And the good news is, the basic sentence structure in Mandarin is, you're going to love this, incredibly straightforward. The basic formula is subject, verb, object. Hey, that's just like in English. So no big mental gymnastics here. You take your subject, 我, for I, you add your verb, 喜欢, for like, and you pop the object on the end. 看书, reading books. And boom, you get 我喜欢看书. Super clean, super direct. Okay, simple sentences are great, but we want to sound more sophisticated, right? We want to add details. And this is where you have to pay close attention, because the word order is different from English. Here's the golden rule. In Mandarin, you put all that extra info, like when you do something or who you do it with, before the verb. So you think about it like this. The structure is subject, then all the details, then the verb. So it becomes I, on the weekend, with friends, do sports. 我周末和朋友一起运动. Let that sink in. The when and with whom always come before the action itself. Okay, Siri is one thing. Let's actually hear this in action. We're going to listen to a short, natural-sounding conversation. I want you to listen not just for the words, but for the rhythm, the flow, the music of the language. All right, here's probably the most common way you'll ask someone this question. I'll be speaker A. Just listen closely. 你的好好是什么? See, it's a nice, open, friendly question. And here's a very standard, simple reply from speaker B. 我喜欢听音乐. Okay, now let's put it together so you can hear the back and forth. A. 你的爱好是什么? B. 我喜欢听音乐. Go on, you can even pause and try repeating those lines yourself. Get the feel for it. All right, pronunciation lab time. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, a rule that, if you master it, will instantly make you sound less like a textbook and more like a real speaker. It's called the third tone Sandy. Basically, when you have two third tones right next to each other, like in 我 and she. Try saying that with two full jips. It's clunky, it's slow, it feels awkward, right? Well, the language naturally smooths this out for you. The rule is simple. The first of the two third tones changes into a rising second tone. So instead of that clunky 我喜欢, it becomes a smooth 我喜欢. You hear that? It glides up on the first word and then dips on the second. 我喜欢. Seriously, practice this. It's a game changer. Okay, everyone, lean in for this next part because it's absolutely crucial. You can know all the words, all the grammar in the world, but if you don't get the culture, you'll never truly connect. This is about building real relationships, whether you're studying abroad or working in a Chinese-speaking company. It's about communicating with respect. Okay, point number 1. Humility is everything. Boasting about your personal skills can come across as really arrogant and can disrupt social harmony. So the default is always to downplay your skills. Next up, show you're actually interested. A conversation isn't a monologue. After you talk about your hobby, you absolutely have to turn it around and ask about theirs. Ask follow-up questions. It shows you're trying to build a real connection, what's known as guanxi. And finally, think we, not I. Mentioning you do your hobby with friends or family is a huge plus. It paints a picture of you as a social, community-oriented person, which is a very, very positive trait. And here is the perfect example of that humility in action. So let's say someone tells you, wow, you play that game so well. Instead of saying thanks, you say this. The first part, nali nali, literally means where, but it's just a set phrase for deflecting a compliment. Think of it as saying, oh, you're too kind. Then you add, 我只是随便玩玩, which basically means, oh, I just mess around for fun. See how that works? It's modest, it's polite, and it keeps the conversation comfortable for everyone. Okay, wow, we have covered a ton of ground today. We've looked at vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and the all-important cultural layer. So now it's time to put all those pieces together so you are ready to tackle that original course objective. Think of this as your personal toolkit for success. It's everything we've talked about boiled down. You've got your key vocabulary words, you know the grammar for making a basic sentence, and just as importantly, how to add those extra details. You get the cultural side of things, being humble, being interested, and you've got that key pronunciation tip for your tones. You are absolutely ready. So now, I'm going to turn it back to you. Really think about it. What's your favorite hobby? Start building that sentence in your head. Use the tools we just gave you. How would you say it? How could you add who you do it with, or when you do it? You literally have all the tools you need right now to complete that assignment we started with. And you're not just ready to spit out a single word. You're ready to describe what you love to do, to ask someone else about their passion, and to do it all in a way that's not just grammatically correct, but also culturally sensitive and respectful. So the floor is all yours.